After saying that, he walked forward to check the giant door. Something different from last time. This time the door is locked, and the system also prompted him to need a key. He took out the Katanan key, opened the door. The hunter behind him was dumbfounded. They've just been tinkering with it for a long time and haven't opened it yet. Chung Xiaoyu opened it as soon as he arrived. See, the door is open. The captain stepped forward and told Chung Xiaoyu, all the guides for this dungeon were bought by our Qi Guild. You have no right to let us leave. The other hunters listened and agreed. That's right. S-class hunters are amazing. Seeing these desperate hunters, Chung Xiaoyu didn't say much. Say to them, then I won't stop you. Anyone who wants to go in can go in. Captain Courage doesn't even think about it. Walked straight in. The system determines that someone without a key has entered the temple. The magic weapon guarding the gate is activated. Raise your weapons. Critical moment. Chung Xiaoyu dragged him back. He threw his weapons on the ground in panic. The guard had a sinister look in his eyes, staring straight at the captain. Gradually the intruder has gone out. Then he put away the weapon. Chung Xiaoyu looked at the livid-faced captain. Asked, it's full of guys like this. Are you sure you want to go in? He warned everyone again. Everyone go outside immediately. Then contact the association. The hunter said that a double dungeon appeared here. In the astonished expressions of everyone, he brought a systematic invitation. Walked into the temple as if nothing had happened. Then the door slammed shut. Torch inside. They all lit up like censer lights. Statue holding musical instruments. Statue holding weapons. Statue holding the Katanan law. And the evil god on the throne. Nothing has changed here. Everything starts from here. Chung Xiaoyu is back again. I don't know if it's an accident of fate or a systematic arrangement. Chung Xiaoyu stepped into this world again. The place that once frightened him to despair. Nothing has changed here. But Chung Xiaoyu is no longer the young man trembling with his sword. He can clearly feel it now. These stone statues are not monsters. Not a living thing. He's just someone's puppet. In this room, there's only one guy with magic. But not an act of destructive power. But she, Chung Xiaoyu, came to him. The one with angel wings. Stone statue holding the Katanan law. A moment later, a pair of bright eyes appeared on the dark face, and a weird smile. He said to Chung Xiaoyu, you are finally here. Albert Airport. Yuri's appearance attracted passers-by to watch and take photos, and he enjoys this feeling of being sought after. The reporter asked him how he planned to conquer the teleportation port. He just replied lightly, same as before. Set up a huge magic circle around the portal, then use magic to fix everything. None of the guys in the portal can escape. The scene exploded directly. I actually want to attack the S-level teleportation port alone. They doubt whether there is any exaggeration. Yuri said to them, my own strength alone is not enough. But his barrier has a special feature. Can absorb magic from surrounding items. As long as a large amount of magic is placed around the teleportation port, after the barrier is activated, it will continue to absorb magic power. Become a stronger fortress. He pointed at the camera and said confidently, I will save you. Just remember who saved you. And this scene was seen by President Gao Jianli, who was far away in Country H. He doesn't know if this Yuri has this strength guide transmission port, but he knows the serious consequences if the strategy fails. What have you been doing lately? I have been exploring the S-type teleportation port. The president looked at the densely packed transmission port of Chung Jinyu's guide. The map is covered with S4. There are even some locations that overlap with areas of large guilds. The president couldn't help but sigh. A union with only one combatant. But it's faster than the large guild strategy. So funny. The president happened to have something to attend to. Then he got up and left. The whole person was so scared that he could not close his mouth. Someone reported. Found a double dungeon at the school. And Hunter Chung Xiaoyu just entered. The dusty stone statues in the temple rattled. Stone wings stretched out from behind him. A huge and powerful display appeared in front of Chung Jinyu. The inscription in the hand. A click. Suddenly fell apart. Chung Xiaoyu asked him, if you asked me to come in? He turned out to be Chung Xiaoyu. Keep asking if you were a World of Warcraft. He smiled. Say to Chung Xiaoyu, you shouldn't ask me who I am. Instead, ask yourself who you are. I saw him clapped his hands. Tell Chung Xiaoyu. It's final testing time now. If the test ends, can you still stand there? I'll tell you everything. Consider it my reward for you. The stone statues that could not be moved by thunder came towards him. Chung Xiaoyu calmly released dark energy. I want the shadow to come out. But he confiscated the permission with a snap of his fingers. He was also reminded not to leave the testing site until the end of the test. This made Chung Xiaoyu a little unhappy. All the preparations I made before coming in became useless. But he didn't panic at all. With his current level, it's more than enough to deal with these puppets. A spear stabbed at him. He just used one hand to catch the blade. Raise your other hand. The spear was broken with a snap. He returned the spear with one forceful blow. Before he could pull it out, Chung Xiaoyu jumped up, stepping the spear into the head. Another soldier saw this. Swing the axe and strike at him. Chung Xiaoyu took out his dagger. Brush. Cut off the weapon. Still flying into the sky in full view of everyone. 2 daggers were inserted into the Fu Bing's forehead with a clang. Didn't give him time to breathe. The archer's arrow shot out of the bow. But Chung Xiaoyu used a dagger to deflect him away. He turned over and kicked out with his sword. Shot a big hole in the engineer's forehead. This moment, he has been waiting for a long time. The group of stone puppets that took away his first life. I can finally take revenge. Seeing Chung Xiaoyu's fighting ability. The angel stone statue is very satisfying. He actually persists to this day in a human body. It seems that it has grown quite quickly during this period. In the past, the stone statues moved very fast. As a result, Xiaoyu can't even see clearly. And now, every move they make, Chung Xiaoyu can catch it. Although every soldier is very strong. But Chung Xiaoyu is confident that he will defeat them one by one. The angel statue looks on like an examiner. Seeing that the stone statue of the divine weapon cannot defeat Chung Xiaoyu, he increased the difficulty. A loud bang. The whole temple is shaking. A huge foot hits the ground. The ground is sunken. The huge statue of the evil king stood in front of Chung Xiaoyu. He still has that saintly smile on his lips. The angel statue declared expressionlessly, now is the time to worship God. Each of these stone statues is powerful, but just a puppet. Even the evil king with destructive power. They were all just acting under his orders. H. Country Hunters Association Office. Chairman Nikuni Matsumoto. Letter of commitment to give up ownership of Chizhou Island Magic Crystal. Give it to President Gao Jianli. And put forward a condition. Want to hire Chung Xiaoyu. The Hunter Guild leader was stunned. Then he laughed. Tell Matsumoto. Chung Xiao and Hunter are not affiliated with the Hunter Association. And Matsumoto also knew this. He just wants contact information from the president. Otherwise, they would not be able to contact Chung Xiaoyu at all. The president was very surprised. You actually gave up such a large amount of money just for a contact number. After losing Go-To, they are no longer able to attack the S-level portal. Although compared with Chung Xiaoyu's net worth, that's a good deal. But there is a problem. He asked Matsumoto to ask the translator out. The 2 presidents chatted alone. Only then did Matsumoto know. Gao Jianli originally knew 2 languages, and after his subordinates left, President Gao Jianli got straight to the point. Tell Matsumoto not to play any tricks. He had long heard that the association and the sword drawing guild had fallen out. I also heard that the Bajian Union rejected the association's aid. Choose government assistance. Matsumoto's face suddenly changed. I didn't expect that these scandals would be revealed. The Sword Drawing Guild and the 2 Kingdoms Hunters Association were originally brothers and sisters. That's because there are post-Tamarin 2 S-class hunters, all centered around Postinglong 2. After Go-To's death, the leaders of major guilds have stepped forward to compete for the top spot. The true dominance of the association was also exposed. If you fail to conquer the teleportation port this time, all responsibilities will be borne by President Matsumoto alone. Goto's aid to country H this time has an impure purpose, but he is also a hunter who represents a country. After being stolen from the sword-drawing guild, resources of Tunglong II, incapable of leading trade unions in their own country, leading to fragmentation among unions, and he is responsible for causing huge sacrifices because of his own cleverness. The president pushed a black object to the squirrel. Tell him this is the black box installed on the Goto group receiver. Then he looked at Songbai with an angry look and told him, "Do you think I know nothing? The problem is not the magic crystal. You should thank Ching Xiao and Hunter. If not for him, your losses will be more serious." Chung Xiaoyu in the temple is working hard to kill the stone statue, but they are huge. One after another comes. Cannot be cleaned in a short time. And what's even more troublesome is the huge stone statue of the evil god. His eyes are shining right now. I was too busy dealing with the soldiers to take care of them. It's too late for him to hide now. He uses the hand of the Dominator to surround the stone minions. The X-rays in the evil king's eyes have been emitted. Chung Xiaoyu held the stone statue soldier in front of him as a shield. The evil king's X-ray quickly hit the stone statue. Chung Xiaoyu's dominant hand. The skill was also upgraded to its final form at that moment. The power of the ruler sometimes needs to be buffered. Chung Xiaoyu quickly stepped aside after his feet landed. X-rays break down quickly. Nowadays, I am looking forward to the deceased Chung Xiaoyu. Fortunately, I escaped in time. Even if he is respected by Xiaoyu, he will not be able to resist the first level. Sure enough, to capture the thief, you must first capture the king. He activates the speed skill. Run towards the evil king as fast as lightning. The evil king raised his huge bare feet. Snap! Trampled all the ground. He showed a confident smile, only to find a blue light appearing in the smoke. Cheng Xiaoyu escaped from the smoke unscathed. The evil king's eyes flashed. Still that light. Chung Xiaoyu has difficulty moving in the air. You can only use the newly upgraded Dominator's almighty Bo Yiba. Chung Xiaoyu swung the evil king hard on the neck. The evil king brought that light and swept it crookedly. This surprised Chung Xiaoyu. Just upgraded to a lower level. This gravitational force is several times stronger. It can already be used on such a behemoth. Whoosh! He climbed on the evil king's shoulders. Used skills to mess around. Countless sword energy scraped across his face. But he didn't expect the Demon King's dagger that can cut through anything. It only left scratches on his face. Since it's useless to use a sword, then it's the same as before. Use the most primitive method to solve everything with fists. Cheng Xiaoyu rushed forward. Raise your fist and hit it hard. In an instant, the evil king's face was smashed and deformed. The angel stone statue was a little surprised. This guy is pretty awesome. Can cause damage to his most proud work. Sword fist is effective. Chung Xiaoyu raised his fist again. Smashed the evil king in the face again. He shouted angrily. Punch after punch. Half of the evil king's face was smashed. Staggering. Falling to the ground with a roar. Cheng Xiaoyu jumped off the evil king's body. Upon seeing this, the soldiers stepped forward one after another. However, Cheng Xiaoyu used a move to control the power of the ruler. Can hit the ground with a loud bang. There are no movable stone statues at the site. He clenched his fists. Today's battle made him a lot stronger again. Even the angel statues couldn't help but applaud him. Chung Xiaoyu asked him, "Can you tell me the truth now?" Angel smiled. Tell Chung Xiaoyu. The test is not over yet. Aren't I still here? Ding sound. The system prompts an urgent task. If you fail to kill the enemy within the specified time, your heart will stop beating. Chung Xiao and all kinds of questions in her heart. He asked the angel, "Who are you?" The stone skin on the angel's face slowly peeled off, revealing a bright cyan face. He said to Chung Xiaoyu, "I seem to have said, your question is stupid, but since you asked the question sincerely, then I will tell you with great mercy. I am the designer of the system. What is? The first level hunter who has the weakest weapon in the world. In a short period of time, it has grown into the world's leading. The hunter who surpasses the S-class is the system, and he appears as a system designer. Chung Xiaoyu will be given the final test. Come to the scene. We also summoned 7 elite hunters from the association, heavily armed. Although he knew that this would not bring any help to Chung Xiaoyu, but because of the responsibility, he must go. Just close to the teleportation port, he was restrained by a powerful magic power. This extremely terrible magic. The hurricane is as sharp as death scythe. He ordered his men to contact the nearest large guild hunter division. Send them an emergency message. I saw the wings behind the system waving rapidly. In Chung Xiaoyu's disbelieving eyes, wings become arms. Whoosh. Even Chung Xiaoyu didn't see clearly. He has already flashed in front of Chung Xiaoyu. When you punch, you have 3 hands. Although Chung Xiaoyu blocked it, but he was still dragged away. Bang! He was shot out like a bullet. It hit the wall with a clang. A mouthful of blood spit out from his mouth. Not buffered yet. Another fist hit him. Just dodged. Several more fists were thrown at him. The designer faced Chung Xiaoyu mercilessly. A violent beating. Chung Xiaoyu took it hard. There is no trace of fear in the eyes, even filled with anger. The designer was a little surprised. Chung Xiaoyu's performance completely exceeded his expectations, even breaking through his design. But in the end, 2 fists are no match for 6 hands. The fist still hit Chung Xiaoyu's face. A stream of blood spurted out from his face. Chung Xiaoyu fought back angrily. Punch him in the face. Knocked him back several meters away. He felt incredible. He never thought that a human could be his opponent. Interesting, really interesting. And Chung Xiaoyu thought in her heart, this guy got me to level 101. Later I grew up here. It shows that he is very confident to defeat people at his current level. But he's going to miscalculate. Chung Xiaoyu asked the designer why he designed this system. Why choose me as a player? And what's happening in the world? The designer smiled. Tell Chung Xiaoyu. If you want to know the answer, gotta beat me first. After saying that, he ran towards Chung Xiaoyu again. Chung Xiaoyu ran away in a hurry. The enemy has 8 hands. He has no advantage in melee combat. He uses the power of the Dominator on the designer from a distance. Unexpectedly, the designer also used the same lens. 2 energies collide. Don't let anyone. Chung Xiaoyu also has no advantage in long range. Not only that, the 8 hands of the designer possess the omnipotence of the Dominator. The weapons falling around him were grabbed by him and flew towards her hand. Suddenly each of his hands was equipped with a weapon. When Chung Xiaoyu saw this, he also took out his weapon. Then asked the designer, why would you choose me? The designer told him, I didn't choose. On the contrary, it is your choice. I just designed and ran the system. Player development system. My design is perfect. Chung Xiaoyu looked at the little time left. There is no time to think of countermeasures. You can only fight head-on. Doesn't he have a few extra hands? I really want to fight to the death. Who is the winner? Maybe he told himself that he must succeed. Must survive. Protect everything you want. He rushes forward. A random attack on the designer. With the power of the 8 hands of the designer within the living body. Seems to echo his thoughts. He's beating like a heart. Chung Xiaoyu can feel that the body's senses have become sharper. Sword, spear, knife, axe, sledgehammer. He felt every move of the designer. When will the weapon attack? To make corresponding predictions. The designers were dumbfounded. Suddenly he became a different person. Not only did he escape his full attack, can continue to fight back. And his speed is getting faster and faster. What's going on? Is there a bug in the system? Soon Chung Xiaoyu cut off the designer's first hand. The designer looked at his arms in disbelief. Although it's just a shell, but never thought about it. A human being can cause such harm to his body. He suddenly realized. No wonder the system chose him. He could see it coming out of Chung Xiaoyu's body. A part of the power that doesn't belong to him. He is angry. Just a human being. A chess piece in his design. He actually wanted to kill his master. Get up, everyone. Leave this blasphemer behind. Chung Xiaoyu doesn't care at the moment. 372:11. Even if there are many obstacles, It can't stop him from wanting to hunt down the designer. With one random move, several of the designer's arms were cut off. The designer used the arm holding the sword to draw towards Cheng Xiaoyu, although Cheng Xiaoyu retreated to avoid. But he was hit on the shoulder by a stone pillar behind him. Looking back, good guy. Before he was so angry, this guy broke his legs. Now you dare to come and cause trouble. He jumped up, smashed his forehead to pieces. Then he looked back at the designer, cut off his remaining arms. When there are 2 minutes and 14 seconds left on the time, Cheng Xiaoyu's knife was placed on the designer's neck. The designer lost. End of test. He is the designer of the player development system, have the ability to transcend the system. But he didn't expect. This human being with the system actually defeated him, and he fulfilled his promise. Tell Cheng Xiaoyu. The answer is in his body. He gave Cheng Xiaoyu permission to read memory through the system. Let Cheng Xiaoyu choose for himself. Although Cheng Xiaoyu doesn't believe the designer, but in order to pursue the truth, he chose to accept. Suddenly a golden light flashed. With that light, he came to a place like hell. The dense army of monsters in the basement. He was immediately dumbfounded. And these monsters are looking up to the sky. Seems to be looking at something. Cheng Xiaoyu turned his head in the direction of the monster. The next second she was stunned. I saw several huge purple portals connected together in the sky. The monsters seemed to be waiting for what is in the teleportation port. What the hell is going on? It feels like a big war is about to start at any time. They're ice cream giant orcs, led by the green goblin and the giant. Thousands of demons. If this power reaches the human world, humanity will become extinct. But it seems that the people they are dealing with are not humans. I saw the transmission port click. An invisible barrier, flying out of the portal like glass. Countless knights with wings. They are like reverse angels descending from the 9 heavens. And the war also kicked off with the arrival of the Blade Angels. The monsters unite to fight against the Silver Soldiers. The clang of weapons. The sound of cracking armor is endless. Soon the shouts turn to wails and moans. The earth is also dyed red. Silver Soldiers are powerful. Just when the monsters are about to be wiped out, the Silver Soldiers who were crushing with the force of breaking bamboo stopped one by one. In the distance, a dark figure appeared on the battlefield. He also used the same professional skills that were synthesized by Jin Yu. King's Realm extracts shadow. The difference is, his domain covers the entire battlefield. The number of extracted shadows is also tens of thousands. There is only one person who can do this. That is the real name of the Shadow King. Seeing this dense number, Cheng Xiaoyu, I feel like I'm too embarrassed to take out my few soldiers. Shadow after rebirth. The monsters walked towards the Silver Soldiers. Even if the soldiers beheaded him to his body, they can also recover quickly. The two forces started a big melee again. The sound of fighting is shocking. He was supposed to be a Silver Soldier who unilaterally slaughtered Warcraft. Because of the appearance of the Shadow King, turned the tide of the war. He is riding a horse, rushing towards the battlefield brandishing a long sword. Kills several silver warriors with one move. One move to dominate. It can crush multiple silver warriors in the distance for you. Shadow soldiers are constantly being destroyed and reborn, torturing the enemy over and over again. Wherever the king went, it was like being swept by a hurricane. This is the victory of the monsters. It is also the victory of the Shadow King. Received an urgent call from the Hunter Association. The Hunter Division brought the Team Elite to the entrance of the Double Dungeon. They feel powerful as never before. I don't understand very much, Cheng Xiaoyu said. He wasn't the one who conquered the Double Dungeon. Then why would he come in and take another risk? With the opening of the giant door, they saw the remains of stone statues all over the ground. They finally saw with their own eyes the stone statues and idols that the survivors talked about. What's going on? I don't think I've ever invited humans. A disembodied voice attracted everyone's attention. I saw the designer bending over, looking at everyone with an evil smile on his face. Everyone suddenly broke out in cold sweat. This stone statue actually spoke, and it's human language. The designer gestured. Tell everyone to be quiet. Don't disturb the king's rest. They saw a figure standing in the center of the temple. That is Cheng Xiao and the hunter. This desperate warrior didn't listen to the designer's warnings. Just because I asked a question. Then he was stabbed by the designer with one move. He was buried with the two unlucky guys beside him. So fast. Even Che Hui, the most powerful person present, couldn't see clearly. The designer said to everyone expressionlessly, "Dare to make mistakes in front of the king. But as the first sacrifice to the king's birth." Not bad either. Cheng Xiaoyu in memory at this time. He looked at his hand. Looked at my body again. Suddenly countless questions about black people flashed in my mind. When did I become like this? Why haven't I found out yet? I don't know when a dark heart appeared in his body, with powerful magic. Thump 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 thump. And he doesn't know. His heart already died the first time he entered the double dungeon. The system placed the heart of the Shadow Lord on him. His life has continued to this day. And all this is designed. He suddenly noticed more powerful magic coming from the teleportation port. Multiple 6 wings flew out from the portal. Silver-winged angel wearing armor. And their status is not ordinary. This is the true strength of the Shadow King. With just a wave of his hand, thousands of troops stood up. The angelic force that was originally at an advantage instantly became a disadvantage. Just when Cheng Xiaoyu was watching the show inside, the hunters from the Hunter Division are in the temple. Because he wanted to save Cheng Xiaoyu, he fell into crisis. The designer is mercilessly killing these ants that disturb the king. Director Cui Zhongying ordered everyone to adjust their troops. Move the wounded to the back. I saw the stone statue that was knocked down by Cheng Xiaoyu stood up again, including the evil king with destructive power. The designer tells everyone, if you can knock down all my puppets, and still alive, you will have the opportunity to witness the birth of the king, even if only one person survives. I saw the evil king's eyes flashing. A huge laser shoots out of the eye. In an instant, a big ditch formed on the ground. The hunter who had no time to escape simply evaporated. Cui Zhongying's figure flashed. Energy sizzles in hands. Several flames hit the evil king's face. Then he ordered everyone to kill the soldiers quickly. Hit the stone statue hard on the face. But not even the slag fell off. Smashed the flames in his face. Also unscathed. Not only that, teammates' provocation skills and low-level telekinesis magic also have no effect. Whether it is a physical attack or a magical attack, it's of no use to them at all. There is no chance of winning by fighting. The only chance is to wake up Cheng Xiaoyu. But it's like he's hypnotized. He was not affected by such loud movements nearby. That being the case, it can only be awakened by force. Cui Zhongying threw a small fireball at him. About to arrive, the designer rushed over and fell. The designer is angry, yelling at Cui Zhongying, "How dare you disturb the king's rest?" Then he rushed towards the stage with a fierce look. Cui Zhongying was stunned by the strong pressure. At this moment, several figures flashed past him. "Leave it to us here. Go and wake up the city hunter. Che Hui hasn't arrived yet." Sung Jin Woo sighed. The designer has already stood in front of Che Hui, and she told him shamelessly, "If you want to go through it, you have to go through it first. My level." Che will say nothing at all. Directly use the skill sword dance. The designer can easily block the car with just one hand. All of Hui Yi's attacks. I even took the time to chop him with a knife. He mocked everyone mercilessly. Really boring. You humans are so insignificant. Not even the power to add to the fun. I am the perfect designer. Ability to predict various outcomes and make countermeasures. It's impossible for you to destroy it with your little thoughts. It doesn't look like there will be any other outcome. Snap. A flame hit his head. Broke the corner of his eye. I saw Cui Zhongying standing with difficulty. There is still smoke from the flames on my hands. He asked Cha Hui to wake up Cheng Jinyu at all costs. Besides, there is no other way. Cha Hui rides with her injuries. Xiaoyu ran away wildly. Designers don't sit idly by. In a flash, she came to Che Hui's side and stretched out his claws. Just when the devil's claws are about to crush Che Hui. Who gave you the right? A familiar voice sounded. Before he could react, a fist hit him in the face. Instantly, my face fell into pieces. Cheng Xiao and the furious questioning designer. What did you do to my body? Cui Zhongyin sighed. Finally here. Saved. The designer was knocked down directly by this punch. Cheng Xiaoyu stepped on him. The designer was dumbfounded. Why not me? Since it's not me, then why are you the one who activated the king's heart? Why is there still self-awareness? Cheng Xiaoyu looked at the heart full of magic. The designer is talking about him, right? And Cheng Xiaoyu also gained 100,000 magic points because of this heart. Look at the designer's words. It can be inferred that the heart is not used to help him. On the contrary, it is to control him. Let the owner of the power within him wake up. But I don't know why his consciousness is still very clear. There is no sign of being replaced. The designer is even more confused. There is a result beyond his design. Which link is wrong? But he soon figured it out. He roared angrily. The Shadow King did this to me. Do you think other kings will stand idly by? Multiple small teleportation ports appeared next to Cheng Xiaoyu. Various weapons sprang out from inside, all ready to launch towards the designer. Cheng Xiao and threatening designers answer questions quickly. The designer did not answer Cheng Xiaoyu's question. He roared. The surrounding stone statues holding musical instruments also started to move. He told Cheng Xiaoyu, if you kill me, no one can stop these stone statues. Even so, you want to kill me too? Cheng Xiaoyu smiled. Tell him, what if I kill them and then deal with these stone statues? Do you feel that as a designer, you are being killed? The system disappears. I will become a first-level hunter. I've thought about this a long time ago. Even if the designer of the system disappears, the system that has been formed will not disappear. The designer panicked. He doesn't believe it. Even if it is forced, we will destroy this system. I saw countless pop-up windows popping up. The designer was dumbfounded. The system intercepted him as the designer. Why is this? Cheng Xiaoyu told him. As early as when the system starts. He has thought about fighting the system countless times. Even once I wanted to destroy the system. But later my mind changed. Since the system is using him, then he will treat others in their own way. Step by step to achieve results that exceed system judgment. Devouring the system step by step. It becomes something that the system cannot control, right? One way or another. It can be said that the designer's plan failed. His design is also full of loopholes. Cheng Xiao and expressionless. Countless Taoist swords shuttle through the designer's body. Cut him to pieces. Before dying, the designer launches his final calculations. When the pillar of fire that holds up heaven and earth rises, the inevitable death will come. But Cheng Xiaoyu just smiled coldly. Wait and see. As a system designer, he never expected. The design that I am proud of is actually full of loopholes. Not only is the system swallowed up by system users, he was also killed by the user. Everyone outside the portal is waiting anxiously. The Hunter Division team has been in for an hour. I don't know what's going on inside. At this time, multiple figures walked out of the teleportation port. I saw everyone looking scarred, looking exhausted. Even Choi Jung-un and Cha Hui-yi, who are S-class, have to support each other. The hunters of the Courage Group suddenly broke out in cold sweat. Even the elite forces of the Hunter Division have become like this. They can't go in without being completely wiped out. Request for help moving the body. Cheng Xiaoyu also walked out of the teleportation port. Although I met the system designer this time, but only got a vague truth from him, there are still many doubts. I feel like there is a big story behind it. But the only thing that's certain is, the heart of the Shadow Lord is in him. Xiaoyu expressed his thanks. Although nearly 20 elite hunters were sacrificed. But it's better than the dungeon going out of control. What puzzled her was, how did Cheng Xiaoyu know that there would be a double dungeon here? It's the dungeon that calls me here. Strange things always happen to this man. The car club has come over. Ask how Chung Xiaoyu is doing. Chung Xiaoyu just wanted to say it was okay. But at that moment, he felt his head was a little heavy. He staggered and fell to the ground. Several large trucks and Albert carried loads of magic crystals. They all fell on the road. Look at these mountains of magic crystals. Yuri suddenly felt confident. There are so many magic crystals to strengthen the barrier. No matter what kind of monster it is, it's hard to escape from his grasp. Moreover, this magic crystal will continuously replenish magic for his barrier. But it made him feel a little strange. There seems to be a strange force around here. He shouted in that direction. Who are you? What to do there? But no one paid attention. He can feel that this power does not belong to humans. On top of tall buildings in the distance, Yu Dao figure. Chung Rihan sighed in admiration. I didn't expect this hunter's perception to be quite good. Can notice his presence. But it's still too small in front of that power. It's finally starting. Everything is going according to plan, leading to a doomed tragedy. In order to deal with this S-class teleportation port, Albert also dropped modern weapons. Although it's useless, and the S-class hunters from the two countries are all around the teleportation port. What if the hunter fails? They will serve as the second line of defense. Help people buy time to escape. Yamamoto Rigi not only expressed emotion. In the face of disaster, human beings are too small. Yuri crosses the road filled with magic. He didn't panic at all, even full of joy. When I think about myself, I will become the next one. A hunter with national power. He couldn't help but raise the corners of his mouth. Open Xiaoju to celebrate in advance. She asked her assistant how many S-class hunters were on standby nearby. The assistant told him. 15 people in total. Yuri looked disappointed. Why are there so few? Didn't other countries send S-class hunters to support them? The assistant told him. An S-class teleportation port also appeared in the eastern part of Country N. And Country B. Foreign countries and other countries have also appeared. The world faces a shortage of hunters. The assistant suddenly exclaimed. The portal opened after the Cat Non incident. The comatose Chung Xiaoyu finally opened her eyes. Found myself lying in the hospital. The rich second generation just came over to visit. Seeing Qing Xiao and Su Xing. A face full of tears. Learned from the rich second generation. Chung Xiaoyu was in a coma for 3 days. In these 3 days, the scene of the battle between the two armies kept lingering in his mind. He suddenly remembered that 3 days had passed. The portal where the second uncle appeared. What's going on now? The rich second generation sighed. I told Chung Xiaoyu what happened during those 3 days. When the teleportation port opened, multiple giants walked out. Any one of them is the boss in the A-level teleportation port. Yuri stood calmly in front of the giant. He is not afraid of S-class hunters. Besides, it's just an A-level monster. He stretched out his hand to spread the barrier. The magic power of the magic crystal stone on the ground was slowly drawn away, gathering at the transfer port from all directions. A huge, semicircular magic barrier was quickly formed. The monster hit the barrier with an axe. Just a sizzling sound. But I couldn't break the barrier. Yuri looked proud. That's right, that's it. My barrier is impeccable. A giant hand reaches out to the A-level buff's head. Shake him off with a snap. A bigger giant came out of the portal. He drew his sword and waved his hand towards the barrier. Directly opened an opening for the barrier. They forced Yuri to do it. This is impossible. This is the so-called person with the strongest barrier ability in mankind, even after spending tons of magic stone energy. For this giant, it's just a matter of one blow. And this hunter who boasts in front of everyone, grabbed like an ant by a giant, with a look of astonishment on his face, put into the mouth by a giant. The front teeth closed with a snap. In the office of Chairman Liu Chung Construction, the chairman woke up groggily. His men told him, he has been asleep for 23 hours, 46 minutes. If you still haven't woken up after 24 hours, I was going to send him to the hospital as he ordered. He handed the chairman a document. Fuck the investigation. There is only one case in the world of a patient suffering from insomnia who has ever woken up. And that patient is Chung Xiaoyu's mother. After Yuri's death, the barrier also disappears. Countless giants came out of it. Tanks on the ground. The fighter jet overhead crackled and fired towards the giant. But they all know. Current weapons are useless against Warcraft. Only the top hunters can withstand the giants. Army. Hoshino suits Kane Tawada to draw weapons. Want to destroy the giants' eyes directly, so as to restrict their movements. But the giants soon noticed. Wielding a weapon to interrupt the hunter's situation. This left the hunter at his wit's end. These seemingly bulky guys. It's actually pretty fast. Chung Xiaoyu sat in front of the TV and watched the live broadcast. He had a premonition. No need to say more. Patriotism will become the next Chijo Island. The whole country will become a paradise for monsters. I'm thinking about whether to go to the rescue. My sister suddenly appears. Tell her not to go. I saw my worried sister. Chung Xiaoyu touched his head. Tell him. Don't worry. I won't go. He came to the park. Summon bell. It's His Highness. Not to the king. What are your instructions? Chung Xiaoyu was speechless for a moment. This guy has been really brainwashed by the palace drama recently. He asked Belle how Xiaoyu was doing. Belle told him. There is no other activity except sleeping every day. Chung Xiaoyu suddenly knew why his sister reacted like that just now. It seems that the last school portal incident. It cast a huge shadow on her heart. It was 4 years ago since he last blocked. He entered the portal for the first time. That will. Chung Xiaoyu fell into a tangle. Then a car stopped next to him. He came to the process construction headquarters. Chairman Lu Minghan said nothing. Push him a huge check. Want to get the anti-inflammation treatment method from Chung Xiaoyu. Chung Xiaoyu suddenly hesitated. He and Lu Minghan didn't know each other. Just because he is the father of a rich second generation. There is a way to save him. Just use up a bottle of precious water of life. All day long he was forced to make choices. Due to attack of giants. The situation between the two countries is like a hell on earth. The other giants scattered around. Wreak havoc everywhere. Only the biggest giant stayed where he was. I don't know who I'm waiting for. Still guarding the portal. It's already the second day since the dungeon went out of control. 38 giant came out of the teleporter. Only 2 were solved. Half the city was destroyed. If this continues, it's only a matter of time before the whole country falls. In the Ivory Union office, I heard that Chung Xiaoyu was going to support the two countries. The rich second generation looked shocked, although he has seen his elder brother's strength. But the monsters of the two countries and the ants of Chijo Island. Not a level existence. They have never encountered such a large monster before. Chung Xiaoyu was a little surprised. This is the first time I see a rich second generation who has full confidence in him be so worried. But it's reasonable. I saw that giant tearing Yuri's barrier apart with one strike. You know how powerful the monster is. Unexpectedly, the rich second generation hesitated for a while, and then told Chung Xiaoyu, if you really want to go, please take me. While he was looking for a document editor. Say to Chung Xiaoyu. Red Portal Event. Meizhou Island Strategy Operation. And the recent Double Dungeon Incident. Do you know what these events have in common? It's just that every time I don't have my big brother. Big brother is my pride. I also want to be on camera with my brother. This makes Chung Xiaoyu unable to understand. Gang is obviously still blocking me. Now I have to drag him along with me. Chung Xiaoyu was a little surprised by what the rich second generation said. I trust you. So as long as you're okay, I'm sure nothing will happen to me. Chung Xiaoyu smiled. Talk to the rich second generation. He was joking. Who could be so stupid? Go to the second country to fight for your life. And left the office, leaving behind a melancholy rich second generation. On the way home, Chung Xiaoyu is still hesitating. Seen in the double dungeon. Let him know. There is someone outside. There is a day outside the sky. There are many more powerful guys in this world than him. He is not strong enough to defeat all enemies. But he still has family. What if something happens? What should the family do? But don't kill so many innocent people. After much hesitation, she chose to go. I thought my mother would refuse. Unexpectedly, my mother agreed. He also said that he would help her pack her luggage after eating, because he knows that like father, like son, instead of blocking it in every possible way, might as well fulfill them. Chung Xiaoyu opened the door. Sit next to my sister and say to him, I'm grateful for your continued care and support for me. I know you are worried about me. I often deal with death, but I come back alive every time. So I will come back safely this time, because I have a family. I have you. I have to be the strongest to protect you. Thank you. Never stopped me. Sister cried. Although I really want my brother not to go. But she knows very well. The greater the ability, the greater the responsibility. This is the path my brother chose. All he can do is pray silently for his brother. Chung Xiaoyu reassured him. He will be back soon. Even if we are thousands of miles apart, it only takes a moment to go home. Soon the news about Chung Xiao and his support for the two countries spread throughout the country. For this reason, they held a huge press conference. Speech by President Gao Jianqi. Chung Xiaoyu as representative. Send the strongest combat force of Country H to the S-level portal of the two countries. The greater the support capacity, the greater the responsibility. Facing the huge disaster at the portal between the two countries, Chung Xiaoyu made a difficult choice. On behalf of Country H, he traveled across the ocean to support. And he doesn't know. The rich second generation secretly followed the second uncle carrying a bag full of luggage. The moment I saw the rich second generation, Chung Xiaoyu sighed. Just because I'm worried about his safety. So don't let him follow you. I didn't expect this kid to come here secretly. He smiled. This is why he trusts the rich second generation so much. While Chung Xiaoyu is worried about the second generation of rich people, the rich second generation is also worried that he will be like this. Chung Xiaoyu, the S-level leader of Smiley Tooth Guild. D-level deputy leader Lu Chenhao. As a representative of Country H, go to the S-level portal to support. Because of the attack of monsters, city residents were forced to flee their homes. People who have no time to escape. Death, death, injury, injury. There is nowhere near enough space for military vehicles to carry the wounded. What's worse? The giant is approaching them. If you don't evacuate quickly, everyone will die here. He didn't want to leave his master behind like this. The soldier sighed. The mission of being a soldier. Protect the people here. Just finished speaking. Then I saw two giants taller than the building. Stick your head out. Looking straight at him. They fired in a hurry. Crazy shooting at the giant. But bullets hit them. Just like popcorn. I saw the giant's hand stretched out. Soldiers come forward. At this moment, a black three-pronged fork flew over. Insert into giant body. Pulled him several meters away. Falling on the ruins of a building in the distance. The soldier commander stared with big eyes in disbelief. A shadow and monster holding a three-pronged fork is looking up to the sky and roaring. At the time of doubt, Chung Xiaoyu walked up. Say to them, it's too dangerous here. You guys leave quickly. Huge shock. Make the surrounding construction debris fall down. The rich second generation holds up the shield. Blocked the actual attack. He asked Chung Xiaoyu to concentrate on dealing with Guan Yu. He will protect the people and evacuate them. Chung Xiaoyu's magic power suddenly appears. The dagger in his hand sizzles. Sesame deserves to be a general-level shadow. Facing the mighty giant. He didn't lag behind at all. The giant was brought down by his great strength. Chung Xiaoyu ran up from Gigi's body. Jump up. Facing the giant lying on the ground. At the head of the group are a group of people from the eastern part of Country M. Several hunters were secretly discussing in the restaurant. They heard that Chung Xiaoyu went to Aguo to help conquer the teleportation port. I think this guy is so pretty. All three of them have had their powers enhanced through Mrs. Sano. So they know very well. The abilities of ordinary hunters are limited. Even S-class hunters are no exception. And Chung Xiaoyu and Mrs. Senuo failed to improve his strength. Just dare to go there and conquer the S-level teleportation port like this. Isn't this courting death? Does he think that the giants are similar to those insects? Prey that is overconfident in its own strength will surely die. I blocked him with a speedboat. Finished in one day. I bet my house that he won't last half a day. Heard this. The neighbors stopped what he was doing. He smiled. Go back and tell those 3 people. If I block the scavenger guild's gate, that kid will survive. These words immediately made the 3 people feel dissatisfied. But due to his strength, I dare not say anything. Thomas looked happy, looking at the black portal outside the window. He didn't panic at all. Even some expectations. Finally, some interesting guy came along. Reporters on the plane were full of excitement. Lived for so long. First time seeing this kind of scene. I saw countless ants jumping on the giant and biting him. Nothing but brute strength. But nothing can be done. The bites from thousands of ants caused him excruciating pain. A little sister runs with fear on her face. Behind her is a huge giant, and stretched out her claws. When the devil's claws are about to catch her, whoosh, a shadow flies past. The giant watched helplessly as his arm was cut apart. Ygritte saved the little girl handsomely. The giant was still stunned. I saw a black shadow appear above his head. King Ein roared loudly. To the giant's head. Just a slap in the face. Knocked down the giant in an instant. The little girl sticks out her little head. See love singing and dancing standing on top of giants. Still showing a proud smile. Ygritte can't even stand it. Shook his head. Sighed. Let the little girl not be frightened by that weird uncle. Chung Xiaoyu saw a look of helplessness in the distance, and became very excited after the upgrade. The soldier bowed to Chung Xiaoyu. I want to thank him for coming to the rescue. Unexpectedly, Chung Xiaoyu gave him a thumbs up. Tell him, you are the best. Brave soldier. This made him feel a little flattered. Chung Xiaoyu ordered the rich second generation to take the soldier commander to a safe place. Then he walked to a pile of monster corpses. It's time to start the official strategy. Stand up. This country is facing catastrophe. The giant that came out of the portal has destructive power. Even the hunter, who is known as the strongest barrier ability in mankind, can't withstand it. One blow. High-rise buildings were trampled into ruins. People's lives are at stake, and there is only one person who can save them. With his huge shadow. With the appearance of Chung Xiaoyu, the army. The situation was quickly brought under control. The priest soon succeeded in taking back the initiative. Not long after, C is a deceased layman. C is the good news of successful recapture coming one after another. President Matsumoto looked in disbelief. This completely exceeded his expectations. When Chung Xiaoyu first arrived at the airport, Matsumoto's original intention was for him to defend the city with the city as the center. Buy more time for their country. This will give him more time to go to other countries to find support. He felt that no matter how powerful he was, Jinyu, it's impossible for one person to wipe out all those giants. Unexpectedly, Chung Xiaoyu refused on the spot. He wants to go directly to the front line to support. Kill the giant at its source. At that time, Matsumoto thought it was impossible. But now he slaps him in the face properly. Chung Xiaoyu really turned the situation around with one person. And Chung Xiaoyu encountered a problem. Now there are 6 more shadows that need to be named. His vocabulary is no longer sufficient. Just call it number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5. Together with the one bell just knocked down, it's number 6. So far, Chung Xiaoyu's strategy went smoothly. But he knows this is just the beginning. He still doesn't know what's waiting for him inside the teleportation port. Chung Xiaoyu photographed the savage soldiers throughout the 2 kingdoms. Help the hunters destroy the giants. For him who has enough magic power, you will never fail if you fight a protracted war. Although the giant is very strong, ordinary shadow soldiers are no match for them at all. But relying on the advantage of constant rebirth, the giant's physical strength continues to be consumed. Finally fell in the wheel battle. However, the loss of control of S-class dungeons also brings other problems. Other dungeons also lost control under his influence. Except giants. Other low-level monsters also entered the city. Hunters can only evade, while fighting back. The 7th day when the dungeon went out of control, the whole city is devastated. Fortunately, most of the monsters have been hunted. Cheng Xiaoyu came to the S-level portal. A familiar voice sounded. I saw Yuchuan appear with a dejected look on his face. Everyone around here has left. He was the only one left here watching the show at the door. Learned from him. The S-class hunters participating in the battle this time. Counting Cheng Xiaoyu, there are 16 people in total, including exotic Yuri. A total of 3 were killed. A total of 31 giants came out. One of them spans the ocean toward the ground. In the past, giants rarely acted alone, usually in groups of 2 to 3. This greatly increases the difficulty of hunting them. Even if there are S-class hunters, it is no longer possible to stop the giant's destruction until the shadow army named Xiaoyu joins. The situation was slowly brought under control. Yada Tawada sat slumped on the giant's corpse, looking irritable. No matter how hard they fight, they can't kill the giant. For those shadow soldiers, it feels like a piece of cake. They are coming to the hunter in a majestic way. Just give the giant last hit. Opportunity for aftermath. After dealing with the giant outside, only the largest giant in front of the teleportation port is left. Cheng Xiaoyu came to the teleportation port, looking at the devastated buildings around us. Except there is no blazing fire. Everything else sounds like devilish language. It's like the system gave him a hint in advance. Earth will be the next demonic language. So Cheng Xiaoyu came over. In order to prevent disaster before it comes, he has the strength to compete. He must keep improving and upgrading. Make yourself stronger. Cheng Xiaoyu told Yuchuan. I'm going to meet that giant. You guys stand further away. Don't be affected. Hankoa panicked. Tell him. No other hunters have arrived yet. Wait until everyone is gathered, and then go to Wendian together. Cheng Xiaoyu told him that everyone was already here. I saw densely packed shadow soldiers standing on the ruins. Yeglet, Kingon, Fongbear, Big Sesame, and Bell came over just after dealing with the giant. They all knelt before the king, waiting for the king's command. Cheng Xiaoyu asked the rich second generation to take Hankoa to a place farther away. This is about to become a battlefield. Then do something serious. Stand up. Cheng Xiaoyu added several more giant shadow troops. He raised his hand. Give orders majestically to the chief shadow. All troops attack. In the face of disaster. How small are humans? The bustling city was reduced to ruins within a few days. Cheng Xiaoyu has a premonition. If the spread of disaster is not prevented, Earth will become the next demonic realm. After killing the giants that were destroying everywhere, Cheng Xiaoyu summoned all the shadow soldiers to the teleportation port. The entire army attacks the portal defenders, facing the huge shadow army. The guards didn't panic at all. He took a deep breath. His eyes turned sharply, and he slashed a huge sword energy forward, sliding towards Shadow. It directly opened a huge hole for the dense Shadow army. Cheng Xiaoyu was shocked. What a terrifying power. Just one move wiped him out. Hundreds of soldiers, worthy of being the guardian of the S-class portal. Just the magic emanating from him. It all makes people feel suffocated. Fangs holding greedy spider. A song of fire. Spewing out a huge pillar of fire from his mouth. Hit the defender. The guards don't dodge either. Just pick it up empty-handed. The other hand also found time to kill the shadow giant. Densely packed ants. Climb the feet of giants. The hard-working biting giant. Shake your feet. Bounced away all the little ants. Belle can't even see it from a distance. Give a battle cry. Cheng Xiaoyu raised her hand to stop him. Tell him it's not time yet. Such a powerful monster. I don't expect a group of soldiers to kill him either. Anyway, it has more mana. Let them fight for a while longer to observe the giant's weaknesses. As a large number of shadows were scattered by the giant, Cheng Xiaoyu's magic power is also visible to the naked eye. No matter how the soldiers cut, how to poke various weapons, random attacks. Guardian is like infinite health bar. No matter how hard I cut it, I couldn't do it. Cheng Xiaoyu can feel it. Magic surrounds him like armor. So he is too lazy to defend. Just keep attacking. But even if it is impeccable, he also has weaknesses. Ching Shao in observation. Only once. When the shadow soldiers were about to attack his eyes, he took action. Chung Xiaoyu issued an order. Shanghai Se opened huge. Bell flapped his little wings. They flew towards the guard together. Bell arrived first, jumped directly into the guard's eyes. The guard jerked up, leaned back and avoid. Ygritte, who was riding on Kaiser, raised the sword of the Demon King, accompanied by sizzling lightning. With a swipe, he slid towards the guard. The guard scurried away. Then he swung his sword and struck Kaiser. Directly dispersed Kaiser's shadow. He smiled. Shoji found out. Ygritte jumped off Kaiser at some point, running straight on his skin. Swish! A huge bolt of lightning hit him in the face, although he blocked it with his hands. But I found a figure appearing in the light and shadow. Stab him in one eye with lightning speed. It hurt so much that he roared. Chung Xiaoyu smiled. Sure enough, I guess this guy's weakness. Cheng Xiaoyu transforms into Black Shining. Appear behind him. Multiple weapons sprang out from the small portal. Weapons under the power of the Dominator, cracking and firing towards the guard's eyes. In the distance, Yuchuan and the rich second generation looked dumbfounded. This feels like it's no longer a battle between hunters and monsters, more like a battle between monsters and monsters. The defenders were attacked in turn by Cheng Xiaoyu, already crumbling. Cheng Xiaoyu takes advantage of the victory to pursue. A random move. Countless sword energy split in his eyes. A stream of dark purple blood spurted out from the eyes. Cheng Xiao and Chao Bayer shouted, "It's your turn to perform." Bell smiled, said something to the king. "Then I won't be polite." Then get into the guardian's eyes. Chung Xiaoyu continued to chop with random knives outside. Bell got into the guard's body and trembled. They should cooperate inside and outside. The guard was so beaten that a mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth, accompanied by a huge roar. The invulnerable giant fell. How useful are the shadow soldiers of the Shadow King? Can be teleported thousands of miles. Can fight disgusting enemies in tens of thousands. You can also find the enemy's weaknesses through shadow attacks. This invincible giant, under the attack of countless shadows, flaws were revealed. Killed by Chung Xiaoyu and Bell. The strange thing is, the system does not show that the dungeon master has been eliminated. It seems that this guy is not the ultimate boss yet, and there was no black smoke coming out of this guy's body. There is no way to extract his shadow. The rich second generation came over and wanted to celebrate, but Chung Xiaoyu raised her hand to stop her. All I saw was a huge open mouth. Bell flew out from inside. The powerful aura of the guardian giant blocked Bell's aura. Even Chung Xiaoyu didn't feel it. At this time, a powerful magic force was scraped out from the transmission port, as sharp as a blade. Chung Xiaoyu's face was scratched with a scratch. Chung Xiaoyu suddenly thought of, the second generation of rich people can't bear this trend. Fortunately, the sensible Ygritte protected her. And Cheng Xiaoyu discovered that the teleportation port was absorbing the giant's magic power. He left the rich second generation outside. Go into the teleportation port yourself and see what's going on. The moment he broke in, he was stunned. The space inside is huge. No wonder giants can enter and exit the teleportation port. And there was a chilling laughter coming from the passage. Chung Xiaoyu was left speechless. The enemies are all at your doorstep. He is still in the mood to laugh. Chung Xiaoyu came to the owner of this laughter. I saw a petite giant being tied up. Seeing Chung Xiaoyu coming, she smiles happier. He was still swearing. The hateful rulers. Look who came to me first. He said to Chung Xiaoyu. You came just in time, my lord. Please help me unlock the chains. I know the plans of the rulers. We need to tell the other kings quickly. But when he saw clearly the appearance of the person coming, stunned. Who is this guy? And Chung Xiaoyu obviously doesn't know him either. But this was the last time he finally met someone who could communicate normally. Warcraft that is not restricted by the system. Learn through dialogue that the rulers are the speed of kings. This guy looks like the Pirate King. In fact, he was King Taizu, one of the 9 great kings. The dominated are locked up here. Want to use him as a trigger for war. He also told Cheng Xiaoyu a frightening news. Kings and rulers have set their sights on him, but he has become Xiaoyu. The current strength is not enough to fight against them. Want to compete with them? We must strengthen our own power. He asked Cheng Xiaoyu to help him unlock the seal. He will help Cheng Xiaoyu become stronger. But just relying on the words of King Taizu, there is no way for Cheng Xiaoyu to meet him. King Taizu smiled and told Cheng Xiaoyu, "Then I'll let you believe it." I saw him as if he was chanting a curse, pulling out a bunch of monsters that Cheng Xiaoyu couldn't understand from his mouth. After a while, take advantage of Xiaoyu's affection again. 3 pop-up windows pop up. King Taizu, the king of the giants, is coming. Integrity Alliance transaction sent to you. Once you accept the covenant of good faith, neither the caster nor the recipient can tell each other whether to accept good faith covenant transactions. Cheng Xiaoyu fell into a tangle. This is a deal with the devil. Should I accept it? For the truth, Cheng Xiaoyu chose to accept the system prompts. Agreement has been reached. Until the covenant is abandoned, neither party can lie to the other. Taizu said to Cheng Xiaoyu, "Untie my seal. I will help you." Cheng Xiaoyu answered, "Well, I trust completely." Not finished yet. It was stopped by the Chengxin covenant. Cheng Xiaoyu couldn't help but be surprised. I didn't expect the effect of this covenant to be so immediate. Cheng Xiaoyu asked him, "Why are you different from other monsters? Can talk to me freely." These words made King Taizu speechless. He actually took those mixed-race residents, comparable to the kings who ruled over them. He told Cheng Xiaoyu, the residents who came out of the teleportation port were all remnants. Defeat them to the Dominator's army. Became a prisoner. Self-awareness must be destroyed. But the king is different. The powerful will of the king cannot be destroyed by the ruler. So he has been silently enduring, waiting for the day I can escape. Until I met Cheng Xiaoyu. Cheng Xiaoyu asked him, "The army of dominators you're talking about are the ones wearing silver armor? The guy with wings on his back?" King Taizu told him, "That's right. They are the soldiers of the rulers." Cheng Xiaoyu asked him, "Those guys called dominators, why do we always send monsters to our world to cause trouble?" Heard this, King Taizu showed an evil smile. He is one of the 9 kings. King Taizu was imprisoned in the portal by the rulers. Want to use it as a trigger for war. And those portals that appear out of thin air, they are preparing for the coming war. They want to turn this world into a battlefield. War with the kings again. These words made Cheng Xiaoyu completely confused. Release the monster. To turn the earth into a battlefield. King Taizu told him, "The reason is simple. Just to deliver magic power to your world. If Warcraft is the disaster caused by the portal, then magic is the blessing given by the portal. Not just hunters. Most ordinary people think so too. Magic stones and magic crystals are items containing magical power. It is the top source of energy now. Want to import power that does not exist in the human world. Using the powerful blood of monsters is the best way. So the rulers decided to use the captives. The concentration of magic power is getting higher and higher. This shows that the blood of Warcraft has already played a role in some areas. They want to use magic to strengthen the world. Create a world that has suffered the brunt of war. A world that will not be destroyed. When there is enough magic, demon kings and rulers will come to Earth. Start a fight to the death. The Earth on which human beings live will soon turn into hell." He told Cheng Xiaoyu, "No time. You and I met. Once it is leaked, neither kings nor rulers will sit still and wait for death." Cheng Xiaoyu didn't answer the question. "From just now, just say those guys are targeting me." "Why do you say that?" King Taizu told him, "It seems you really don't know anything. The power you have now does not belong to you. And the power you have, it proves that the original owner of that power betrayed the king, has become the common enemy of kings and rulers. But I am the only one who stands by your side and makes a covenant with you. Why don't you help me?" Cheng Xiaoyu smiled and told him, "If you just want to stand by my side, wouldn't it be better to be my shadow soldier?" King Taizu was frightened. That moment, he seemed to have seen Cheng Xiaoyu and the Shadow King overlap. He told Cheng Xiaoyu, kings and rulers are all spirits. If the spirit body dies, it will disappear completely. There is no way to become a woman. They are destined to be kings. Can't be a soldier. Cheng Xiaoyu's hand sizzled. A short knife appeared in the hand. Towards the king. Cut off the heavy iron chains tied to your arms. When preparing to cut off the other side, he hesitated. Asked King Taizu, will you stand with humanity? See King Taizu and say nothing. Cheng Xiaoyu became more certain about his inner thoughts. Because of the covenant of good faith, King Taizu cannot lie. No matter which camp he is on, humans are the species they must eliminate. Negotiations over establishment of diplomatic relations collapsed. King Taizu will not say any more. Xiang Cheng Xiaoyu stretched out his giant hand. Cheng Xiaoyu had already expected. Evaded King Taizu's attack. Stab him in the chest with a dagger. Although he promised to help Cheng Xiaoyu. But Cheng Jinyu is a native human being. So I would rather miss it. Don't let it go. Free King Taizu. It might bring disaster. King Taizu smiled. Say to Cheng Xiaoyu, I am not a disaster. And you are Cheng Xiaoyu. The promise keeper who holds the dagger exerts his strength. King Taizu spurted out a mouthful of old blood. Before death, he cursed into Jin Wu. The battle between the real residents and the mixed world residents becomes more intense. The world will also become more miserable. What you want to protect will be reduced to ashes in the flames of war. Cheng Xiao and expressionless. Say to him, wait and see. As King Taizu's head fell to the ground. System prompt. The owner of the dungeon has been eliminated. King Taizu Ligia, one of the 9 kings, has been destroyed. Because of the huge amount of experience points. It takes some time. Then there's a big wave of level upgrades. It's a pity that I can't make it into a shadow. The soldiers only took some trophies. After Cheng Xiaoyu left, the corpse of King Taizu turned into a spirit body. Float to the sky. A villa in Country M. A helicopter parked in the large open space in front of the door. National Power Hunter Christopher. Standing at the door with a confused look on his face. The deputy director and Mrs. Sano came uninvited, claiming to have something important to tell him. Chris thought he was being asked to help with the strategy. S-class portal appearing in the east. So I refused decisively. But she didn't expect Mrs. Sano to say to her, you are likely to encounter a fatal disaster in the recent period. National power level hunters are hunters who stand at the top of the Earth's food chain. There are only 5 of them in the whole world. Any one of them has the power to destroy the world. And one of the power level hunters, Chris, informed by the prophet Mrs. Sino, it is very likely that you will encounter a fatal disaster in the near future. These words made Chris furious. I think Mrs. Sino's jokes are a bit too much. If you weren't kind to him, I probably died because of this sentence. But Mrs. Sano was not deterred by this. Explained to her. Not long ago, she had a dream. In the dream, a group of men surrounded Chris. Obliterate him. Chris looked indifferent. Tell Mrs. Sino, I am a national power level hunter. No one can kill me. And even if what you say is true, so who should I turn to for help? Is there any hunter in the world who can protect him? State rights hunter. Mrs. Sino told her. Maybe there is someone who can help you. That is Cheng Xiaoyu. Cheng Xiaoyu, who killed King Taizu, came out of the teleporter. Although the King of Giants is dead, but the remaining magic power has not dissipated for a long time. This further confirmed Cheng Xiaoyu's thoughts. Sure enough, we still have to kill him. This guy's power is sealed by chains. Still so powerful. If this is to release it, misbehaving outside, I can't control it. You have to become stronger. Before these powerful enemies turn the earth into a battlefield. Nip their plans in the cradle. The news that the giants had been wiped out quickly spread throughout the world. People are discussing it enthusiastically on social networks. Is there a new intense state power? What is different from the Chizhou Island operation is that this time it's not just the people of Country H who think so. People all over the world have the same idea. And the giant that crossed the ocean, destroyed by Lu Zhikong, a hunter from Country Z, President Matsumoto of the Nikuni Hunters Association also surrendered. Maybe it's because I got caught. Or maybe it's because of an uneasy conscience. And the country on the other side of the earth. Eastern State Government. For the Ongwa hunters who successfully conquered the S-level portal, a new benefit was held. Several hunters who participated in this strategy operation. Talking happily, Thomas came over, told them about the bet. These three little quacks pretended to be stupid for a moment. What are you hiding from? I have nothing. Thomas leaned closer to the bald face. Said something to him. Your tie looks nice. Just a little unworthy. The bald head was so frightened that his face turned livid. The assistant came over. Tell him. The invitation list for this International Trade Union Conference is out. This also includes the Ivory Guild of Country H. Thomas smiled evilly. It seems that he is coming to the Warring States period. Can't wait to see the S-level teleportation port of a country that has been conquered. Cheng Xiaoyu moved the corpses of giants from all over the two countries. Turned them all into shadow warriors. Everyone else was stunned. A monster that even an S-class hunter can't defeat. Now they are all Cheng Xiaoyu's subordinates. This is the ability of a hunter. That's awesome. Hearing someone exaggerate that my brother is the deputy leader, the rich second generation suddenly had a look on his face. At this time Yuchuan came over. Hand him the phone. The rich second generation answered the phone. The whole person was stunned. Then tell Cheng Xiaoyu. He has to go home if he has something to do. But the other end of the phone didn't tell the rich second generation what was going on. And Cheng Xiaoyu knew that his father's condition must have worsened. The rich second generation sitting on the plane felt uneasy. This was the first time he felt his mother so panicked. H-Country Airport assistant came to pick up the plane. On the road, the assistant told the rich second generation. The chairman's condition has reached an advanced stage. Fell into final sleep. The rich second generation wanted to go over, but was stopped by his assistant. The assistant told him, a hunter who cannot control his magic power. Close to the chairman. It will only make the condition worse. He could only look at the rich second generation from a distance through the glass and felt very guilty. Such a serious thing happened. He can't do anything. The assistant handed the rich second generation a heavy notebook. Tell the rich second generation. This is what the chairman was doing before he fainted. Open that moment. The rich second generation was stunned. I saw photos of the rich second generation in the news posted on my notebook, and records of various events. Like father, like son. When I see a story I like, I cut and paste it. His habits are exactly the same as those of the rich second generation. Not just the rich second generation, and his sister and brother. All kinds of competitions and grand prizes were collected by his father. And the latest news. The chief and deputy leaders of the Ivory Union went to live far away. The news of the rescue was specially cut and pasted by the chairman. The rich second generation burst into tears. The assistant told him, it's not that Chairman Liu doesn't love you, but the depth of love. Full responsibility. The rich second generation who just wants to go home. The back of the head seemed to have been hit by something. He turned around but found nothing. I had no choice but to leave directly. Watching the rich second generation disappearing. The invisible Cheng Xiaoyu slowly appeared. Came to Lu Mingan's hospital bed. Take out the remaining water of life. The sister of a rich second generation came to the hospital to visit her father. When walking to the ward, I saw Cheng Xiaoyu's back. Feels a little familiar. Then he saw that his father had woken up. Cheng Xiaonu, who was walking downstairs, said happy birthday to the rich second generation. Chen Hao and Cheng Xiaoyu suddenly didn't know what to do when they were free. I really want to find a friend to catch up on old times. But the first image that popped into her mind was, it's actually Cha Huiran. This made him a little confused. Love comes too fast. Like a tornado. He is a national power level hunter. But he was told that he would be killed soon. The only way is to find Qing Xiao and the gang leader who are the Shadow Lords. But he is so arrogant that he thinks he is invincible. No one can kill him. On a dark and windy night, while sleeping soundly, he was awakened by a powerful force of magic. He got up. Come to the hall. I noticed something was wrong with how quiet the surroundings were. He picked up the red wine glass and threw it to the ground. The wine glass fell to the ground and broke, but he didn't hear any sound. This made her feel panic. Suddenly I felt a little regretful. I didn't listen to Mrs. Sino during the day. It seems like his dream is real. He shouted into the empty hall who it was. I saw a figure appear out of thin air. A handsome young man turned around and smiled evilly at him. There are two terrifying black shadows behind him. The handsome man looked at Chris happily. I found you. Brilliant shard. And Chris couldn't understand what he felt when he was chirping. Like Warcraft. A handsome man gave him a friendly international gesture. Tell him to stop talking. Chris feels slighted. Suddenly furious. I saw strange flames emanating from his body. After a moment, he turns into a cyclops. The two people behind me were stunned. Even humans can become spirits. Chris after becoming a spirit. As if the furious god of war was crackling and smashing, and growled at the handsome man. Go to hell. You abominable group of monsters. The powerful force instantly caused the entire villa to become devastated. After Chung Xiaoyu helped the two countries conquer the teleportation port, the whole country celebrates. Farewell to hero Chung Xiaoyu. The streets were crowded with onlookers. I want to come over and see a hero in action. They waved enthusiastically to Sung Jin Woo. Bell poked his little head out from behind. Say to Chung Xiaoyu, Your Highness, so many people are paying their respects to you. You should also wave to them. Chung Xiaoyu was left speechless. This Bell has been around since the drama, Chasing the Palace. As far as the relationship is concerned, on the plane he met Adam, the security bureau chief. Chung Xiaoyu knew this couldn't be a coincidence. Adam is happy. He only met Chung Xiaoyu once and was shot to death. He felt honored. But she didn't know that Bell secretly reminded her. Tell her not to call her by the wrong name this time. The king's majesty is unshakable. Chung Xiaoyu thought he was here to persuade him to immigrate to his country again. He refused before he could speak. Adam told him that was not the case. He opened the video in his laptop and showed it to Chung Xiaoyu. There are multiple firefighters and blazing fires in the picture. And this fire is no ordinary fire. No matter what method is used, it will be carved into the bones. As soon as you touch him, he will be instantly burned into black charcoal. Adam told him, I'm aroused by state power level Hunter Chris. To put out the fire he caused. Country M dispatched 1,800 firefighters and 14 top magic series. After the fire was put out, they found Chris' body in the ruins of the villa, and Chung Rihan, the #1 suspect deduced by the Hunter Bureau. Suddenly Adam's body floated out of thin air. I saw Chung Jinyu furious. Sees Adam's promise to keep and use force. He has a fierce look in his eyes. Looked at Adam and said, How dare you make such a joke with me? Are you tired of living? The bodyguard wants to come and help, but was stopped by Adam. Then he struggled to explain to Chung Xiaoyu. The person in the photo came out of the dungeon. Probably not the one you're familiar with. Chung Xiaoyu asked the dungeon in confusion. Adam told him. His magic power fluctuations are very similar to those of Warcraft. And after it appears, the S-class hunter who attacked us without saying a word. Months ago, he was responsible for the explosion in the Hunter Management Bureau. Hear this. Chung Xiaoyu just let go. Put Adam down. Adam collapsed on the ground and gasped for air. Tell Chung Xiaoyu. Chung Rihan disappeared after defeating the hunter from the country. Although the Hunter Management Bureau has been secretly investigating, but it's like he disappeared from the world. Can't find any clues. So he is now the biggest suspect. Chung Xiaoyu held up the photo and asked him, Then what is the real purpose of showing me this photo? Adam told him, In order to maintain a friendly relationship with Cheng Xiao and Hunter, disclose this matter to him in advance. The International Association Conference will be held soon. This meeting, representatives of well-known trade unions from all over the world will participate. The Inbo Hunter Management Bureau is going to issue a wanted order for him at the meeting. That is to say, Chung Rihan will become the target of pursuit by the whole world. He is a national power level hunter. But he was told by a prophet that there would be a fatal disaster soon. But he didn't take the prophet's words seriously. He is so arrogant that he thinks he is invincible, leading to tragic death in his villa. If you can't find any clues, why don't you just pass the blame to Chung Xiaoyu, his dad? They will announce the fatwa for Japan and South Korea at an international conference. In order to maintain a friendly relationship with Chung Xiaoyu, the Hunter Management Bureau. Tell Chung Xiaoyu about this in advance. Heard this message. Chung Xiaoyu's eyes were filled with disbelief. He hasn't heard from his father for 10 years. Finally got the news. I heard my father turned into a monster. Or the suspect who killed a powerful hunter. Adam, who was standing aside, thought of Chung Xiaoyu's terrifying power just now. My feet are so weak that I can't even stand up now. Even the most advanced magic series have the telekinesis power of people. Only items can be moved at most. Compared with Chung Xiaoyu's power, it's simply not the same level of existence. This man is probably the 6th national power level hunter in the world. We need to tell the deputy director the news quickly. The International Trade Union Conference invites representative trade unions from various countries to participate. Let's discuss peace and prospects together. A major meeting on trends and prospects in the hunter world. A few days later, the Hunter Management Bureau of Country M released the list of unions attending the meeting. It is worth mentioning that the representative of Country H is the recently established Ivory Association. As soon as the news came out, it sparked heated discussions around the world. As we all know, the top hunter of the Ivory Guild, only Chung Xiao, who is the president of the guild and the artist. That is to say, the Hunter Management Bureau of Country M publicly acknowledged an Ivory Union with only one top hunter, enough to compete with other guilds in the world that have many top hunters, comparable. And before that, the 4 hunter guilds have always represented Country H in international meetings. Regarding being replaced by a rising star, Cui Zhongyin is not dissatisfied at all. I even feel that the choice made by the administration is a natural one. Although the Ivory Union was recently created, and there is only one person with the top strength of the union, but this person has done things that many big guilds can't do. Any achievement can be astonishing to the world. See the process with your own eyes. The strength that Xiaoyu has shown in so many battles. Cui Zhongyin is convinced from the bottom of his heart. He feels that the country is proud to have such a hunter. He left the press conference and walked out. The assistant is full of excitement. Tell him. The teleportation port that appeared in the West District this morning. Get strategy permission. While the assistant was reporting the news to Cui Zhongyin, let me first recommend to you the girlfriend-raising mobile game in the lower left corner. There is a cool secretary in the game. Made in black stockings. Enthusiastic nurse. Charming stewardess. There are hundreds of girlfriends waiting for you to choose from all the types you like. Click on the lower left corner to try it. Although it is an ordinary A-level teleportation port, but this time he was not snatched away by the Ivory Guild. Since the establishment of Chung Xiaoyu's Ivory Guild, all the large domestic guilds are complaining. Chung Xiaoyu almost monopolizes the strategy licensing of domestic high-level teleportation ports. And after this portal nemesis came back from the second country, I didn't continue the guide. No competition from the Ivory Guild. Their union's income increased by a full 40%. But I don't know why Cui Zhongyin can't be happy. Just happy because the apple fell from the tree. What's the difference between that and a monkey? Country Z wants information on becoming a hunter of Xiaoyu. The president suddenly looked confused. How do they pay attention to Chicheng? Jinwu Hunter is coming. Haven't you already conveyed your wish to become a hunter to each country? Do not accept invitations from any country. This time it is not a request from the government of Country Z. It's a personal request. Lu Zhikong, the 7-star hunter of Country Z, seems to be very interested in Hunter Chung Xiaoyu. Country Z is different from the rest of the world. Has its own hunter level system. The highest level is 5-star hunter. And Lu Zhikong is the only one. The 7-star hunter who transcends the hierarchy. The reason why I want to know Chung Xiaoyu, it's because he fought against the giant that smuggled into Erbwa. Know the strength of the giant. So he is curious. Chung Xiaoyu, who can destroy all giants by himself. What kind of character is he? The president is thoughtful. This is probably what is called a hero recognizing a hero, right? Directly reject a big country's superhero request. It doesn't seem to be very good either. Just give him some superficial information. Manhwa Scavenger Union Building assistant told Thomas. Hunter Chung Xiaoyu will arrive in Amber tomorrow. Thomas asked him to call Huang Dongshu over. Meet Huang Dongshu. Thomas gets right to the point. Walk to Huang Dongshu. Order him not to move into Shaoyun. Heard about this. Huang Dongshu's face was full of dissatisfaction, but due to Thomas's strength, don't dare to vent. But how can he do it accurately? Just watching the enemy who killed me come to my own country, but did nothing. I really can't swallow this breath, but was suppressed by Thomas's suffocating coercion. I saw him pointing at Huang Dongshu. A fierce look. Say to him, it seems like you have no right to speak, right? Scared him so much that he broke into a cold sweat. Just about to say something. I forced myself to hold it back. Stand by. Can't help but admire. As expected of Thomas. To issue such an oppressive warning to top hunters. Not many people in the world. But he also understands Huang Dongshu's persistence in hunting prey. He is no less than Thomas. Thomas patted Huang Dongshu on the shoulder. Warn him again. Don't move to become Xiaoyu. During the time he came, you can rest for a while in the villa under the guild's name. Huang Dongshu was so angry that he gritted his teeth. But due to Thomas's strength, I can only agree verbally. Watching Huang Dongshu's leaving figure. Thomas knows. He can't give up at this level. He ordered his assistant to take advantage of the time when Xiaoyu left Amber. Send someone to keep an eye on him 24 hours a day. Although he should feel very unhappy, but it's better than dying. After leaving Thomas's room, blue veins appeared on Huang Dongshu's face. Gritting my teeth with hatred. You can't hide the look in the eyes of someone who wants a knife. My father has been missing for 10 years, and there has been no news. Finally got some news. I heard my father turned into a monster, or the suspect who killed a powerful hunter. To this end, Country M held an international conference. Invite the strongest guilds from each country to participate as representatives. The representative of Country H is the Ivory Union with only 3 members. Reinert, the imperial representative who had just got off the plane, was very confused. Why are there so many reporters here? The deputy chief told him. I heard that he is the H country hunter who has been the hottest topic recently. Will arrive in Anhua today. And that person has arrived. Leonard wanted to go over and become familiar with him, but just took a few steps. He suddenly stopped. Others can't see, but he saw clearly. There are countless densely packed black shadows hidden under his feet. With this quantity, there will be no problem even if we start a war with the shore country. He was so scared that he didn't even dare to go up and say hello. But he was discovered by Chung Xiaoyu, who has quick perception. The rich second generation told him not to care. Famous people will always have these fans wherever they go. Maybe I just want an autograph. What the rich second generation didn't expect was that. He even said he wanted to be Jin Yu's bodyguard with a shaky look on his face. Made the rich second generation angry with laughter. Adam came over. Say hello to Chung Xiaoyu respectfully, and was responsible for receiving Chung Xiaoyu and his party. He asked Chung Xiaoyu to go with him. Chung Xiaoyu's face changed drastically. Ask him about his father? Adam hurriedly explained to her. That's not the case. I just sincerely want to find Chung Xiao and cooperate with me, and promised not to cause any loss to him. On the way, Adam invited Chung Xiaoyu. Due to the loss of state power level Hunter Chris, they are in urgent need of personnel who can increase their combat effectiveness. And Chung Xiaoyu is their favorite group of people. He turned on the projection. That's the remains of a giant dragon that has been lying underground for 8 years. The greatest disaster ever encountered by human beings, the dragon Kamish. And the stone that was pulled out of his body. A full 8 years. The Hunter Authority is always looking for prey eligible to own him. Adam thought this condition was enough to impress Chung Xiaoyu. Unexpectedly, Chung Xiaoyu's attention was not on the history of Rooney. He asked Adam to turn the photo forward. I want to see Kamish skeleton again. He asked Adam. Kamish's body has been kept by Amber for all these years. Adam told him. Yes. Chung Xiaoyu said to him. Then let's go directly there. I'm so happy to take out my own time. Cooperate with your Hunter Management Bureau to make this request. Not too much. Adam is in trouble. This is the top secret of the Hunter Management Bureau. Even he doesn't have this authority. You need to apply to your superior first. Chung Xiaoyu told him. We have to wait anyway. Then go directly to the Hunter Management Bureau and wait. Then Adam reported the matter to the director. The director was confused. This person suddenly came to his bureau. What surprised him even more was, Chung Xiaoyu said nothing on the road. Like mud and stone. On the contrary, I am very interested in the remains of Kamish. The deputy director told him. The value of skills is endless. Top hunters are buying what they need, such as mud, rocks, and rocks. Don't care about the price at all. But he cares so much about the corpse of the monster. It should be related to his ability. They always thought that Chung Xiaoyu's skills could only be extracted. The shadow of the monster that was defeated by him. It seems now, those who were not killed by him, even monsters that have been dead for a while, can be made into summoned beasts by him. They were suddenly surprised. What an awesome ability this is. The director stood up and slapped the table with excitement. This is absolutely not okay. If he is really resurrected, how much does Chung Xiaoyu's strength need to be enhanced? We can't let such huge power be concentrated in one person. The deputy director told him. But if you reject him directly, it will be difficult to maintain a good relationship with her. This made the director immediately very confused. After weighing it again and again, the director decided to take her to have a look in person. Let's take a look at his strength. That's all. He took Chung Xiaoyu to the place where the remains of the dragon Kamish were stored. Go through a long passage. They came to the entrance. Chang Xiaoyu can feel the powerful magic emanating from it. If this is the magic left behind 8 years after his death, then turn him into a shadow soldier. How powerful is the power? They came to the remains of the dragon. Just looking at the corpse makes me shudder. In order to prevent this body from being destroyed, the Hunter Management Bureau even built a building directly on the site, keeping the last 5 powers and hunters intact. The way he looked when he was killed. Hunter Authority Building. All electricity comes from his magic crystal. Chung Xiaoyu asked the director and others to step back. Then he walked towards the remains of the dragon. He stretched out his hand and spoke the command to the remains of the dragon in the reinforced glass. Stand up. A dark aura emanates from the dragon. System prompts that shadow extraction failed. Chung Xiaoyu expected that such a powerful monster would be dead for so long. It's not easy to extract. He took a deep breath. Watch him stand up sincerely again. A moment later, on the remains of the dragon, a huge black shadow slowly appeared. With a powerful dark aura, the dragon rises slowly. Open your huge mouth and look up to the sky and scream. He is Kamish the dragon, king of dragons. The greatest disaster ever encountered by mankind. Hundreds of elite hunters died at his hands. In the end, 5 state-level hunters teamed up to kill him after death. The body was preserved intact until Chung Xiaoyu's arrival. He was awakened again after sleeping for 8 years. He roared. The ceiling was shaken to pieces. Water pipe breaks directly. He looked down at Chung Xiaoyu and asked, Are you calling me? Lord of the Dead Shadow King. Everyone present was shocked. See you soon. The dragon wakes up. He has forgotten many things since he became a shadow, but he remembers it clearly. This is humans killing humans. Kill them all. He stretched out his giant paw and pressed lightly on the tempered glass, accompanied by a clicking sound. The whole glass was shattered. Bang! He rushed out. A dark purple flame hovered in front of the mouth. Everyone panicked and tried to escape but couldn't. That's Kamish. Even top hunters can't hide from them. Not to mention them. When the flame is about to blurt out, Chung Xiaoyu stopped him. Enough said to him. The magic crystal inserted in your head has long been removed. You no longer need to obey the orders of the dominators. Heard this. The giant dragon Kami slowly put away the flames. Everyone looked at this scene in disbelief. This can no longer be explained by common sense. Cheng Xiao and the hunter can actually talk about Warcraft Girl, and the invincible dragon obeyed his orders completely. What surprised them even more was, the dragon lowered his head, show wealth and honor before him with the courtesy of a king and a minister. A humble servant, serving the dragon emperor. Tribute to the new king. Cheng Xiaoyu couldn't help but sigh. The shadow soldier's self-awareness can be so strong. His level is higher than any monster I've ever seen. Serve the dragon emperor. The dragon told him. Yes, king. I was the king of the light dragons. Servants of the king of destruction. When he was touched, he instantly transformed into a well-behaved pet. Keep wagging its tail. I stared at the people around me. How did this arrogant monster become so obedient? It's a pity that the good times did not last long. The giant dragon Shadow stayed for a while and was about to leave. The power of the Shadow King cannot make up for Barney's vanity. The dragon's face is filled with regret. It's too late to meet the king. He envied those women who could serve the king forever. Before leaving, he reminded Cheng Xiaoyu. There are 4 humans in total who use the power of the Dominator. You must be careful. They can see you briefly. You are my pleasure. After talking, the dragon's shadow burrowed back into the wreckage. System prompts that shadow extraction failed. The shadow of the other party has returned to the world of nothingness. The opponent's death time is too long. There is no meaning to extract anymore. Cheng Xiaoyu expressed his apology to the director and promised to pay all maintenance costs here, and then walked straight out of the laboratory. Bang sound shocked everyone. I saw Cheng Xiaoyu outside smashing the wall with his fist and deforming it. My heart is full of unwillingness. In this way, a great deal of strength was lost. Walked out of the Hunter Management Bureau. Ask him if he has seen the rich second generation. Cheng Xiaoyu suddenly looked confused. 2 hours ago, the rich second generation received your message. Ask him to go to the management office and wait for you. Then the scavenger hunter came and picked him up. I feel something is wrong. I contacted you immediately, but never got in touch. And Cheng Xiaoyu happened to be in the basement with no signal during that time. He asked Adam on the side in confusion about this matter. But Adam was also confused. She didn't receive any work arrangements for hosting the rich second generation. And although the scavenger union has a good relationship with the administration, but they have no authority to take charge of the affairs of the authority. He thought it would be better to contact the scavenger union directly to ask about the situation. But the customer service lady was also confused. She has never received this assignment before. He asked Adam to wait first. He will confirm it as soon as possible. Hang up the phone. Adam hurriedly wanted to tell Cheng Xiaoyu about the situation, but found that the person was missing. At this time, Cheng Xiaoyu was already anxious. Hear about the scavenger guild. He suddenly had a bad feeling. But before, in order to save Lu Minghan, the chairman has replaced the shadows around the rich second generation. After that, he didn't leave a shadow around him. Protect her. She was worried that the second generation of rich people would be in the same danger as his sister. He jumped to the top of the highest building, summoned all the shadows, ordered them to find the rich second generation at all costs. Other side. Thomas comes to the villa owned by the scavenger guild. Seeing the unconscious men all over the ground, he took off his glasses. Crushed in anger, things eventually developed in the least ideal direction. He ordered his men to use whatever means. We have to find Huang Dongshu before Cheng Xiaoyu. At this time, Huang Dongshu took the rich second generation to a hidden place. Make personal attacks. His face is full of joy. I can only vent my anger. Only then can he feel the joy of living. This S-Class hunter is really brave. Ignoring warnings from State Power Hunter Thomas. Acting without permission to kidnap the Shadow King's companions. This made Cheng Xiaoyu very anxious. Send all the shadows on him out to find the whereabouts of the rich second generation. Although he has never met Huang Dongshu, but he is definitely as bad as his brother. And he was sure of his brother's death. Cheng Xiaoyu has something to do with the rich second generation. If it's too late to find the rich second generation, estimated life and death energy. The anger in his heart that wanted to kill someone could no longer be suppressed. Rich second generation. If you lose your life because of this, Chung Xiaoyu might be able to overthrow the entire Ongwa territory. The scavenger guild is also very worried. Thomas looked like he hated iron. He doesn't know what shit Huang Dongshu has in his head. Don't even want life. No one to mess with. A hunter with such great strength and fame. He called Laura. Ask him how it is. Laura reported the situation to him. Already cooperated with the Hunter Management Bureau. Launched a comprehensive investigation into the actions of Huang Dongshu Hunter. After extensive investigation, already locked an area, Thomas ordered him to send all the fighting power of the guild there. That just puzzled him. The Hunter Management Bureau is actually so cooperative with their actions. But he doesn't know. Loss of a national power level hunter. This has caused a shortage of combat power in the administration. If Chung Xiaoyu and Thomas are allowed to bring them, after losing a national power level hunter, the consequences will be disastrous. They mobilized all available personnel from the administration. It must be done before the situation worsens. Contain it in an abandoned warehouse. Huang Dongshu led several hunters to imprison the rich second generation here. The rich second generation was tortured until his body was bruised and bruised. Although Huang Dongshu already had the answer in his heart. But I still want to hear it for myself. What happened to my brother and them in the underground city? And how my brother was killed by Chung Xiaoyu? Just hear this answer. Then there's nothing wrong with the second generation of rich people. I didn't expect this rich second generation guy to be so generous. Beaten to death. Don't say a word. He punched the rich second generation hard on the chest. Wake him up from unconsciousness. Then he pushed her against the wall and threatened him. I'm not going to kill you. All you have to do is say that the murderer is Chung Xiaoyu. Otherwise, I will keep torturing you. I saw this guy wearing glasses next to me. He is a daddy. When you are about to be tortured to death every time, he will save you. Until you tell me the answer I want to hear. You will always accept the pain like this. And the factory here has been abandoned. No one can save me even if your throat is broken if you scream. How are you? Do you want to change your mind now? I saw the rich second generation's lips slowly opening, said 2 words to him, and gave him a friendly international gesture. He was so angry that he grabbed the hand of the rich second generation and held his pussy. The killer on the side reminded him. Mr. Huang controls his emotions. Your goal is to become Xiaozhou, not this tight-lipped loser. Hear this. Huang Dongshu calmed down. Kill the rich second generation now, but can't get anything. Chung Xiaoyu must be allowed to die with a ruined reputation. He suddenly noticed. I don't know when a monster stood at the door. Huang Dongshu thought it was a monster from some teleportation port that came out. Prepare to use it to vent your anger. And that monster is shaking nonstop. People who don't know think he is afraid of Huang Dongshu. Huang Dongshu said nothing. Raise your fist and punch him directly. But she doesn't know. She is exchanging bodies with Chung Xiaoyu, mother and daughter lying on the sofa in the community. Watching Chung Xiaoyu go to a distant country. Bell stuck out his little head behind him. Seeing Chung Xiao and him, can't help but sigh. Your Highness is really handsome. Suddenly his body shivered. I've had this feeling before. It was the time when Chung Xiaoyu's sister had an accident. And it seems to be even stronger this time. The king is angry. Among the knights on a mission. Suddenly, the elite men noticed something strange. He saw the shadows under everyone's feet were commotion. Zhao Zhengshu asked him, Are you drinking today? My mind is not clear anymore. I can't take you to the dungeon like this. He was so anxious that his subordinates argued loudly. I didn't drink even a drop today. I really saw the shadow moving. The scavenger guild is rushing to the scene. Thomas suddenly became restless in the car. So far apart. He could already feel the magic emanating from Chung Xiaoyu. Things are already developing towards the worst outcome. He kicked the car door open. Jumped out of the car. Tell the driver. He goes first. Others will follow immediately. Bang.